Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from Cross the Shock. And you've seen by the title, how important is EDC to you? And before I came into this community, I might have carried a pocket knife. I might not have. Usually I would have had a wee pocket knife on me, most days. Very rarely I wouldn't have had one. Since I stopped smoking, I didn't carry a lighter. I'd stopped doing that, whereas I always had a lighter in my pocket. Lighter, packet of fags or whatever, rollies. And I never carried a notebook or anything like that. I always carried a wallet. I never carried a watch. I've only started carrying a watch. Probably in the last 11 years, I've started carrying a watch. And that was simply when my father passed away. The one thing I wanted of his was his watch. It was one that we as a family bought him for his retirement. It's very, you've seen it tons of time on my, this is it here. It's just a rotary watch. It's nice. It's now got dents and bruises where I fell the other day. You can see that. Character. That's all that is, because it's the watch that I'll never let go out if I can possibly keep it going. It's just a little tie to my dad. So, and I carried all them sort of things. So I always had a bunch full of keys and maybe different wee gadgets on it. Like I've got a wee petrol lighter on it. I might have had a small Victorinox on it. I wouldn't have had this one. This is a Midnight Manager or something. It's got screwdrivers and a pen in it. And then a flashlight, or a torch, as we call it over here in the UK. A torch was not something I even had on my key ring, really, until I started bushcrafting, which was, again, later on in life when I started I would have been in my 50s when I started bushcrafting. So then I started carrying a torch. So EDC has one of them things that's crept up on me. I'm a late starter. And I mean, I put this all in front of me here and I'm thinking, Stephen, that's just ridiculous. That's too much. But you want to know something? It's what I carry. If I'm going out for a day, like if I'm just going across to the shop, I'll make sure I'll have my wallet, I'll have my knife, I'll have my watch, or not, doesn't really matter, and I'll have a pen and a small flashlight in here. I carry these every day. I have different ones. I've got different colours. This is my reddish colour. This is my bluish colour. So I have these all to go with different outfits. I'm really turning into a big girl. But do you know what I mean? I carry them every day. So when I'm going across the shop, I'll have them on me. I mightn't have some of these other things on me. I wouldn't necessarily take a lighter, but I have my car keys and a wee lighter on it. I have a wee torch in it as backup, because I just love backup, especially with torches, because unless you're religiously good at checking the battery and topping them up, which I am pretty good at, I'll have to say. Usually about once a month, I give them all a sort of top up, but I have been known to forget. So it's always nice having two just in case, because light is not something you can replicate. You just can't replicate, and you never know when you're out, when you're going to need it. So even having these small ones, I have a larger one in the car. I have other ones lying about. I have loads of torches. This is one that I'll carry if I know I'm going to be out, overnight or something. I'm going away. I'll take this because it's got the bigger battery in it and it'll last longer. And to be honest with you, I don't need 450,000 million light lumens on a torch. If I'm in the pitch black, 30 lumens is more than adequate to get enough. When I was bushcrafting, to walk about or to go for a pee, and I used 3 lumens. Do you know what I mean? That's all you need when you're in the pitch black. But for other things, it's nice to have a little bit more power. But I don't need some big fancy big one. That's not something. A torch to me is something that's just very functional. It wouldn't be art. I was given this beautiful one by one of my subs, and I just adore it. It wasn't even a make that I knew. It's a Manker, M-A-N-K-E-R, Manker. I know a lot of people this would suit. But it is, it's a lovely torch. And I've got a couple of torches sitting there. I always have torches around me. I'm not waffling. There's torches everywhere. I have lighters everywhere. EDC is really important. It's something I like to do. Are they all necessity? Well, if you're going to be prepared, and being prepared doesn't only mean for you. If you're going out and as just a good citizen, Having some of these things on you can save people's lives. I mean, the tourniquet I carry everywhere, as people know. I have them. I have plenty of them. I have one in my go bag, if you like. I have one in my jean pocket, the fifth pocket. It stays there through the wash cycle. Everything, it's just been in there for donkeys. So things that I do carry. I mean, to have a tourniquet, I mean, this is a very cheap form. It's just a bit of paracord that's a long enough loop that it'll go around a good thick thigh if you needed to. And you can put a tourniquet on. You don't have to take belts off. It's immediate. It's there. I just pull it out, put it on. Canadian jam knot. That's it, done. Just quick. And first aid is all about being quick. So just carrying that. It's not necessarily for me, but because I'm a knife person, it's very important that I do have a backup in case I really cut myself badly, which we all know is very easy to do. Incredibly easy. So, I mean, that's an important thing. So this is not a lot of stuff when you get down to it. It's just a wallet, a wee tiny thin book. I have the small Write in the Rain book, just in case I would have an idea, which is not very often, but it's nice even just to write a note or a telephone number. If somebody gives you one, it's there for you. And again, I've got a pen there and I have a backup pen here. So it's there. I like the backups just in case. Watches I can change out. You've seen that. But little fixed blades. If I'm going down to the woods or I'm going out for a walk or a hike, or, you know, I don't really call them that over here. It's a wee hump up a hill. But I mean, a little small fixed blade, I have become really, and I know Justin, my mate, the both of us really love little small fixed blades because they are so useful. And Jack Wolf this month has come out with this beautiful one. And we'll talk a bit about it. I mean, it is just stunning. This one I can clip my belt. If I'm going on a hike or up in the, you know, in a forest or whatever, I can clip it on my belt. Perfectly legal because I'm in the place to use it. But I can slip it into my pocket on the way home. It's small, it just slipped in my pocket, but look at this beautiful little knife. There's a full review coming tomorrow. I was going to do it today, and then there's a reason why this took its place today, because I was just sitting in here doing a wee bit of thinking about, you know, different videos that I hadn't done in a while, and I haven't done a proper EDC one because I do love EDC. It plays a big part in my my day. I love picking a new knife for the day. I love just having a change up a gear. It gives me a boost. But this is just stunning. Thin, slips in the pocket, whether it's on the, you know, I don't need to use the clip on it. I just put it down in my pocket, but it clips on my belt or the waist of my jeans, whichever. If I've got a big thick belt on, I'll just clip it into my jeans and this will sit there behind it. It's just handy to have it there. And if I'm going away for an overnighter or whatever, this is what I take. I have done for years upon years. I just think this is one of the best value, useful little items that you can buy. And it's about 20 quid. I don't even think it's that much, but it's just a Victorinox knife sharpener. That's all it is. A little knife sharpener. The lesser the knives I have, normally about D2, but most of the time it's going to be 10.95 because I like carrying, you know, if I'm going out in my, you know, tracksuit bottoms, I'll carry something like this, which is 10.95, but it's a sturdy little workhorse. An absolutely beautiful knife, which will do most jobs you ever want. I've just stuck that in my finger. So there we go. But this is a real sturdy little knife that'll do so much work. It is really, really one of my favourite little GECs, the 26. So this will sharpen anything like that there. It might struggle to sharpen this because it's in 1095, or 1095, it's in S90V. But it will take a burr off. You know, if you've done it, it'll align the blade. It would take too long to put a mirror edge, but it'll bring the knife back into function. Genuinely do that. There's not a problem doing that. But it'll not, you know, you're not going to get a mirror polish off this. It's just for an emergency. So taking this away with you for a weekend is a very simple way to do it. And the other thing that I would have in the back of my, I've got the wrong notebook here. In the back of my, the notebook that I normally carry, this is just one I had in my go bag there. My other, I have a little piece of leather in there which is loaded with compound, and I carry that with me anyway every day. It's just a thin bit of leather in there. You've seen it before in my videos. I just picked this one up. It's a brand new one. The other one's in the front room sitting by my chair, and it has good ideas in it. But yeah, I just think super thing to have with you if you're a knife person. There's nothing worse than taking a knife out and finding it's gone blunt from your last job. So there we go. Simple little thing. And the difference in knives, like normally I will carry this when I'm going out and about to a woods or a forest, but normally I'll just be carrying a fancy knife. This in here is one of my new slips from NJ Hoods, which is just fantastic. This is the one where you just push it and it drops out. I love these slips. I get the one, I've got ones with clips and I like them too, but I'm going back to these again. I just love his slips. It's good hard leather, but he also does a softer leather now, which is also fantastic. But I'll normally carry something like this, a beautiful knife. It just happens to be a 2-bladed knife. It goes in there, fits perfectly, not going to fall out until you squeeze it, and then it'll just drop out. So that's what I'll normally carry, is 2 knives. Why do I carry 2 knives? Do you know, the simple answer to that is my front right pocket only carries my knife. My left pocket will carry a secondary knife, and it'll also carry this. So these 2 will go to my left-hand pocket, but my front pocket is just for my main carry. And if my main carry is that's where it'll go in the front pocket. Back pocket, back right is my wallet, back left is my notebook. Watch obviously on my arm. This can go in my front pocket if my knife is in a sheath. That's it. I just throw them in. I mean, it's just it. And this goes in my 5th pocket. I just really, I was an ex-first aider in the military, but I mean, this is very basic. There's so much better tourniquets out there, but for me, they're just too big and I wouldn't carry them. I don't carry a bag over my shoulder. That's just not me. Although I was in the Navy and that would sort of fit, but I don't carry one. So this is my alternative. And having something is better than nothing. And isn't that what EDC is? It's everyday carry, but it's everyday carry on things that you're going to want to use or you might need to use. Another thing I might use is if I had, a fancy knife, I'll carry a multi-tool. My multi-tool of choice at the minute is the Medford Ask, the American Service knife, which has got a fantastic pry bar and a really good blade steel. That's a great secondary knife to have with a basic one. And that's it. What else do I carry? Some days I'll just carry this. If I'm just in my tracksuit bottom, I'll carry something like this. And it's a Stockman. It's a PAL cutlery one. It's a Knoll one. I just love the bone on it. I love everything about this knife. It has one of the most useful blades that is out there now, that I think. And that is a sheep's foot. It is a cracking sheep's foot. This is razor sharp. Absolutely. Look how thin the stock is. Razor sharp, super knife. But the reason when I'm just taking one knife out, I wasn't always like this. If I'm just taking one knife out in a pair of tracksuit bottoms, I'll take a Stockman or a 2-bladed knife because it gives me an option. It gives me an option where if one goes dull, I have another one straight away because I don't have 2 knives. So a Stockman or a 2-bladed knife, like this is a 2-bladed knife too. I mean, if worst comes to worst, there's none of my knives I wouldn't use if I really needed to. None. I try not to, and my really good ones abuse them, I should say. But I will use them and carry. I love carrying a good knife because if I meet somebody and we get talking, and invariably I talk about bloody knives because that's all I know. Well, it seems to be all I know at the minute. So there's a reason, and you have to be sensible, when you're taking knives out. But when you have this in your pocket, you're not that worried if you're just taking a basic steel. Like this is just a basic carbon steel. Easy to sharpen. Sharpens a dream on one of these. It'll do you. You never have to worry. You have 3 blades there and a sharpener. You're never going to worry about what you've got. And this is just the thickness of a pen. So it's so easy to put in your pocket. What else did I want to touch on? Oh yeah, like small knives. I mean, this isn't the first small knife I've had or that I've carried. I carry this one as well. It sits on my desk, but it's being changed out. This one's going to be on my desk now. This is going to be a carry one. It's a bit smaller. It's in a, this is in a double thick, this is leather on leather, if you like, and this beautiful. This was done by, oh God, I've forgotten the blooming name. It's something EDC. It's got on overhead. Anyway, it's a lovely little sheath. I reinforced it by put putting a little bit of leather. I just cut it a square, a long square, or a long square, a long bit of leather across there, a thin bit. So when I put my knife in, I just jam it into it. I literally just poke it in and it holds it in there and it holds it upside down. So it's safe enough in my pocket. Very nice. Little bead to pull it out, which I've also done on this one because I like to be able to do that. I pull the whole sheath out and then take it out. I'm never in that much of a rush. Never in that much of a rush. So there you go. And it's funny, this one here, I'm actually going to get a thin sheath for it. But what I thought was, here is an idea that I thought it'll cost me nothing. I've got Jack Wolf sheaths. That's already got the Jack Wolf logo on it. And I tried this morning there. And this fits in it. It's not particularly tight, but I would get a bit of leather in it and put it, reinforce the corners and the bottom so that I can just push this down into it. But I'm thinking of getting two little, what do they call them, rivets on either side here, which will tighten that up and keep that more secure and in central position. And that then becomes a super, I'll probably dye it black as well, but that then becomes a super thin carry that I can carry anytime I want. So there we go. That's my thought process, which is often waylaid by everything else in my life. But I love this knife and I've grown fonder. I mean, I've used it so much now, it's widened out itself. I literally have it in and out all the time, especially in the kitchen. It is a fantastic little knife for the kitchen. It's like a paring knife. It's just, and it's so thin behind the edge. If you want wafer thin tomatoes, you'll get, see-through tomatoes. It's beautiful. So there we go. How important is EDC to me? EDC is very important to me. It's very important. And I feel naked when I don't have it. And especially when I'm away from the house for a longer time, I do feel naked. I like to know I've got enough that you would reasonably carry with you. I mean, even on my key ring, I have knives, screwdrivers, I have a torch, and I have a little torch, a lighter, and a pen. They're just basics that are on there. I also have a lovely, this is Randy sent me this, and it's got a lovely metal ball in it, nice wee bead skull. That's a self-defense weapon. Just a set of keys and something you can hold on to tightly. Whack somebody around the chops with that. It'll cut. It'll just do damage. Trust me, it'll definitely do damage. So there we go. And I also carry this as well. Now that I don't smoke, I have a puffer. But when you look at it, it looks like an awful lot. But once you get your pair of jeans on and you put them into their pockets, it's not a lot at all. You don't feel it. And yet when I go out then, I feel I'm completely prepared. Have I ever had an emergency where I've needed to use like a tourniquet or things like that? No. No, definitely. I know I definitely haven't. But it's always there. For that day that you do need it, having it could just save somebody's life, if not your own. And I just think simple things like that. Making fire, if you're trapped somewhere, you never know where you're going to be and you get trapped. You get cold, you die with hypothermia. If you can't see, you bump your head far too often in the middle of a forest. If you say you're going to hike and you get lost, it's pitch black. And when I say pitch black, it's pitch black. There's nothing. If there's no moonlight out, you really are snookered. So all these wee basic things, will they ever happen to me? I don't know. It doesn't matter because I was never a Boy Scout, but that motto is a fantastic motto. Be prepared. There you go. That's my ramble over. I'll bet you it was very quick. Oh, under 20 minutes. Goodbye. Thanks very much. Let me know what you think, what you carry. Do you carry as much muck as I do? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.